Yes, I know, I'm still stuck inside this hotel room. I'm sick of it. I wanna go home. I miss my bed, but the weather's nice. And I got to go to the movies 3 times this weekend, so I can't complain. Which is why I'm here. I went to see White Boy Rick, and it's time to do a review. So, intro. White Boy Rick is a very well-directed film telling the true story of a young teen named Rick Warsh, nicknamed White Boy Rick. This is a very interesting story of a young kid living in a very rough Michigan area with a family that's falling apart and gets convinced by the police to become an undercover informant. Buy drugs, sell drugs, you know, it'll help them put the bad guys away in jail and keep the heavy drug rotation off of the streets. Rick's father is played by Matthew McConaughey. He's a gun guy. He knows a lot about guns, buys guns, he sells guns. He's just a man who wants to keep his family together. He's been through a lot. His wife has left him. He just wants his daughter to be off drugs. He wants his son to go back to school. In his eyes, if he could just open up a family video store and keep his family close, that would probably be the best life ever. Now, I don't think I have to tell anybody that Matthew McConaughey does a great job in this, because that's pretty much expected nowadays. He's a scene stealer. He sets the bar up high for the rest of the cast every single time he's on set, and this movie's no different. But I think the person that really needs a spotlight put on them the most in this film is this guy. His name's Richie Merritt. He plays White Boy Rick, and the reason I'm so impressed with him is because this is his first time acting. Not only is this his first time acting, this is his first job ever. Matthew McConaughey's done many interviews explaining this, saying that the film had been put on hold for about 2 years because they just couldn't find the right kid to play Rick. And they got to the point where they just went to a rough high school in Detroit and talked to the principal and said, "Hey, do you have any kids that fit this description?" And the principal said, "Yes, I do, follow me." And that was how they found their kid. And I don't know if I enjoyed his performance more because of knowing that, but I just have to give the kid credit for knocking it out of the park on his first gig. As you already know now, the film is set in Detroit, and the way that the city is shown through the camera lens is so raw. It's so authentic. The color template throughout the entire film is a light blue to give that cold feeling as the snow's blowing past everybody. The drone shots sometimes following car drives show nothing but power lines and snow on the streets, but it's so rich in detail. I felt like I was actually there in the streets of Detroit, Michigan. A lot of handheld camera work, sometimes too much. I understand that sometimes using that handheld effect makes it more personal. Sometimes it's used to draw you closer into the actor's performance, but other times I thought, just use a tripod. There are a few tense, suspenseful moments that involve the police that he's working for and some of the new friends that are doing criminal activity. I just think it would be a very scary situation to be in, knowing that these people who could easily kill you could find out that you're a rat. But I will say, I could have used a little more tension. There are a lot of moments where the tension was building and it ended. The scene just ended, and to me that's a little bit of a disappointment. I can also see how some would find this film pretty boring. I've heard some people say there's not a lot that happens, not a lot of action. I looked at it for what it was. This is based on a true story. I'm sure that the writers just wanted to make a script that was as close to the original true story as possible. And I personally thought the story was very compelling. I actually think that the film probably would have been received phenomenally if it was like a Netflix series, something where they can spend each episode devoting an entire hour to focus on this one subject of the story. And I'm just trying to speak on behalf of some of the people that didn't like the film. Maybe more of them would have appreciated it if it was done in that style. Guys, in the end, this is a movie telling the story of a young boy who got mixed in with the wrong crowd and got mixed in with the wrong situation. We see the rise and fall of a young man, and I think it's really sad to see how his life turned out. Will some find this movie boring? Yes. Did I find it boring? No, not at all, actually. I personally would have never known about the story if it wasn't for the movie. So for that reason, I'm actually glad that I got to learn about this kid named White Boy Rick. Do I recommend going out to see this film in theaters? Well, if you're like me and you don't mind sitting through a long, drawn out, slow paced movie that just tells an interesting true story, sure, go check it out. If you're expecting fireworks and a lot of action and you don't really like sitting through long movies that are just well acted and well directed, maybe sit this one out. But guys, that is it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, give me a like, comment down below, let me know what you thought. Did you watch this movie? What did you think about it? But I've got to turn this camera off now because I have to create my next review for a simple favor. So until next time, I will see you on the next video.